Hi folks, Teresa with Stringfield Ridge Farm. We were tagged in a video collaboration about 5 LCE events that changed your life. Bub at Getting Started on Homesteading tagged me and Lee in his video, and I will leave that in the description below. Also, he was tagged by Nona Grace. I will list their links in the description below. This collaboration is all about talking about 5 things, events that have happened in your life that could be considered LCE, life-changing events. And so please go watch their videos. Bub at Getting Started on Homesteading done an excellent job. I was almost in tears over his video. And in thinking about this, I had about 10 that I wanted to mention all by myself. So we decided for me to do my own video and Lee to do his own video. So Lee will be coming up with a video of his 5 LCE events in his life, and we'll be posting that real soon. So keep an eye out for that. I am 11 years older than Lee, so I've had a little more experience and a little more opportunity to have LCEs than he has. Some of mine, I'm gonna tell you all 10. But I'll go through them quickly and not drag them on. To me, they are life-changing events, but some of them are not necessarily bad life-changing events that we think of when we think of life-changing events. Some of them are actually good things. It's just that to me, they were life-changing events. Usually, when we say an LCE, you're usually talking about something. It could be job loss, death in the family, divorce, let's see, heart attack, a major health issue, cancer or heart attack or something like that. Or it could also be a natural disaster. A tornado tears up your home, or an earthquake, or, if you live down on the coast, it could be a hurricane or something, tsunami, But all of these are LCEs, life-changing events. So some of mine, most of mine, are not as serious as you think of LCEs. Let me put that out there. Okay, I'm going to start out and I'll go through them quickly and talk about a few of them more than others. First and foremost, I want to say I got saved and baptized when I was 9 years old. That's a life-changing event, or it should be. And so years later, I got kind of out of sorts, got out of the Lord's will, and I rededicated my life after about 3 children. I have 5 daughters. After about the 3rd one, I rededicated my life to the Lord. I am a Christian. The second one is my real dad adopted me when I was 12 years old. That sounds like a strange statement, but I was like a year old, and my real mom and dad got together and got married, but I had a different name. And so when I turned 12, I found out about all that and understood all that and asked him to adopt me and give me his name. So I had the name Brown on my birth certificate, and then after my real dad adopted me, I had the name Walton. So I just say my maiden name is Walton. And my dad, I called him Pappy, and he was just, I just loved him so much. He was, we were close, and he passed away years ago, and I miss him. Okay, so moving on. All right. At 16 years old, I got married and had my first child. That was stupid. Just gonna say it. It was stupid. I had no clue what I was doing, and really wasn't ready for all that. But anyway, at 16, I got married and had my first child. Then we had a second child, and then we divorced. And so leading right on into the next one is that after my first husband and I divorced, I had met back up with my high school crush. The guy I had a crush on all through high school, met back up with him. We got married and had 3 more children. So I have 5 daughters. Next one is that that husband died and left me a widow with 5 daughters to raise. The first husband wasn't around, didn't have anything to do with the 2 that I had with him. So I had the 5, and my second husband died, and actually he killed himself, and that's a whole nother LCE all in itself. Now we're talking about the tough stuff. That was an LCE. My husband killed himself and left me with 5 daughters by myself, and he left me with guilt, years of guilt. I went through about 5 years of just self-destruction. That's the only way I know how to put it, is that I went through about 5 years after he died of self-destruction. So, life-changing event. That was definitely a life-changing event. I was a terrible mother during that time. Kind of turned into a workaholic. I worked all the time, and my daughters came home from school by themselves. And then I came home from work and had a lot of guilt and probably neglected those daughters for about 5 years. And then I came to my senses a little bit, and Lee came into my life, and we married, and shortly after me and Lee got together, my dad passed away, and that was an LC for me. Out of all the other things, my second husband died, and then my dad died, and both of those were probably the biggest LCEs, I would say, because I was very close with my dad. My dad helped me with everything. He done so much for me. We sat at the kitchen table and talked for hours. I used to pray that I would find a man like my dad. And it took a long time, but I finally did. And a funny part of that is, I used to pray that, I used to say, I told everybody, I'm going to marry a man that cooks like my daddy. My pappy could cook. He could make some of the best biscuits and gravy, and he cooked wild game. He cooked deer and turtle, snapping turtle. He would cook that, and what else? Fish. He fished, and he cooked all of that, and wonderfully. He was such a good cook. And I used to say, I'm going to find a man that can cook like my daddy. And I finally did that with Lee. Lee can cook good. He cooks all the time. He does most of the cooking. He makes the best biscuits. He doesn't like gravy. I have to make my own gravy. But anyway, so that was an LC for me, was my dad passing away. And so the next one is medical. I had a cyst on my ovaries that ruptured and attached to my urinary tract, and I almost died. And they had to go in and take the cyst that had ruptured. They had to get that off of my urinary tract and do a total hysterectomy. And so that threw me into menopause. And I was a total wreck for probably 4 or 5 years, but I was in menopause for about 8 years. But about 4 or 5 of those 8 years was really bad. I was a monster. I was in that full-blown menopause. I hated everybody, and myself included, and it's night sweats, mood swings, all of that, the whole 9 yards. It was horrible. It was 8 years of misery. So that to me was LC. 5 daughters and 11 grandchildren with another one on the way, a 12th on the way. So that's an LC also to me, in a sort of a way, is having a bunch of kids and grandkids, and oh, we love the grandkids to pieces. And so that's definitely a life-changing event, is having kids and grandkids. And so that leads up to the last one that I could think of, was kind of getting this YouTube and homesteading started. Me and Lee, we grew a garden and we had some chickens. But until we started watching YouTube videos and meeting friends in the YouTube community, we have grown so much in that and learned so much. We have had, you know, pigs and a cow, and butchered our own meat, and you know, we've done kombucha and our own homemade kraut, and you know, just so many things that this homesteading lifestyle has completely changed our life. And the friends that we have met on YouTube in this homesteading community has completely changed our life. So now we have friends all over the country that we enjoy talking to. We do Marco Polo with, which is a kind of a face chat that we do with people, and we have live shows on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time, so be sure you check us out then. And that's all I have. So y'all look out for Lee to do one of these videos, and he'll give you his 5 LCEs. And the whole point of doing these LCEs to talk about is to say an LCE can happen to you anytime. Be prepared. There's lots of things in your life that can be LCEs. Be sure you are prepared to deal with them. Give us a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And I need to tag a couple of other people for this video. And I would like to tag Cathy at Living Miracle Homestead, and Brenda at Duncan 1900 Homestead. You two are tagged.